This is how Justin Gaethje can get revenge on Dustin Poirier in their rematch at UFC 291. We're going to be breaking down the first fight to an extent to really highlight the reasons why Dustin Poirier won and how Justin Gaethje can improve. And we're going to be taking into account new skills that Justin Gaethje has developed since then and new skills that Dustin Poirier has developed because he's better now too. And a lot of people aren't talking about that either. Justin Gaethje, the reason he lost the first fight is, put into a nutshell, the way he likes to fight got completely countered by Dustin Poirier. And the reason that happened is because the way Justin Gaethje does these things is he puts a lot of pressure on a guy, he breaks down their legs, he concusses them, makes them dizzy, busts them up. And as he takes your damage and you take his damage, it's like a trade offer. We both receive brain damage. Like, let's just trade damage all day. You get weaker and he doesn't, right? That's the whole thing. He breaks you down to a point where the next round you're not going to have as much offense for him because you're just exhausted, you're broken, you're tired, and that's how he slowly breaks you down. Dustin Poirier, however, maintains consistent damage throughout a fight. He has consistent conditioning and he has consistent power. He can knock you out in round 1 or round 5. So he was consistently damaging Gaethje at the same rate as the first round, which eventually got to Gaethje, and he broke in a sense first. He actually just had too much concussive damage. His brain broke, I guess. Never thought I'd say that. It's brutal. His brain couldn't take it anymore, getting punched a lot. But the main reason that this didn't work is because Justin Gaethje couldn't break down Dustin Poirier at the same rate he breaks down other people. That was a mixture of Dustin Poirier's toughness, but also his amazing defense, which people really don't talk about enough. Dustin Poirier's defense is awesome. He has really good blocking. He has really good head movement. And then when you finally hit him, he skims. He lets the punch move off his head. He doesn't actually get clean hit all the time. A lot of the time, the punches are scraping him. And then, after all that, when you do finally hit Dustin Poirier clean, he takes it. Because he's got a good chin. So he's very hard to finish with punches. I don't think anyone can finish Dustin Poirier with punches at this point in his career. I think he's just too good at the defense and the conditioning there. Justin Gaethje definitely can't do it either. And Justin Gaethje, the way he punches even now, his hooks and his overhands, Dustin Poirier showed in the first fight he can dodge them really well. So we're not basing the prediction off that either. See, the main thing Justin Gaethje needs to do is maintain the pressure of breaking down Poirier like he was, because Poirier was breaking in that fight. Poirier was breaking down slowly. You can see when Justin Gaethje threw the rolling thunder, the front flip. If you haven't seen that fight, go watch it now. Get out of this video and watch it now. Hurry. Justin Gaethje threw a front flip and landed with his heels like on Dustin's head, and Dustin just sat down in a crowd with his hands on his knees, bent over like, oh god, like, I don't want to be here. Like, it was working, it was getting broken, but like I said, Justin went out first because you just can't keep taking punches from Dustin Poirier. It's just, no one can do that. Too precise, too powerful. You can't just get punched in the head by Poirier. And Justin Gaethje's defense just wasn't good enough to deal with the boxing. So in this fight, what Justin Gaethje needs to do to win is avoid standing in front of Poirier and trying to... It's kind of a... It doesn't make sense in a sense. Because one hand, I need him to break down Poirier at the same rate. On the other hand, I need him not to take that much damage. And that's exactly counterintuitive. That's how he breaks people down. He walks through that damage. We just need the damage from Poirier's boxing to be reduced. And I think the best way for Justin Gaethje to do that is actually to clinch up with Poirier. Because he was winning a lot of the clinching battles he was doing with Poirier in that first fight. Clinch up with Poirier or get out of there. Don't be there. He did a lot of covering up, like he does in a lot of fights, covering up and tanking the punches, and that's what led him to get KO'd. So we need him not to be covering up. We need him not to be standing in front of Poirier, just taking the punches and trading damage. He comes in with his own flurry, has a bit of a brawl, clinches up with Poirier, or disengages it completely. And he's going to actually do that. We do know that Justin Gaethje is much more patient now and much more reserved. He isn't going to just walk into punches. However, if he's not careful, that plays direct more into Poirier's game, right? Poirier's fine. He doesn't have to take damage. He can play a technical boxing game all day with Gaethje. Like, Dustin Poirier's boxing is better than Gaethje's. If you don't think that, then just go watch my other video on Dustin Poirier and how he wins the fight. Because it's a lot better. And a long range, like, straight punching, jabbing game with Dustin Poirier isn't going to work in Gaethje's favor either. Arguably, the leg kicks aren't going to work as good either, but I still think that Justin Gaethje has an edge in the leg kick game. I still think his leg kicks are good. Dustin Poirier's defense has improved. It's not going to be anything like the first fight of his legs just getting absolutely chewed to pieces, but I still take Justin Gaethje to damage the legs quite a bit. So I think he needs to mix up the weapons. He can't have a straight boxing match with Poirier. No one can in the lightweight division. I just talked about light heavyweight in my last video, and it's like confusing me. He can't have a boxing match with Poirier. He needs to hit, cover up, or hit and grab. And when I say cover up, I mean cover up and move. He can't cover up and just take punches because Poirier's too good at getting around the guard as well. You can't just cover up in front of him. The first fight proved that really easily. This is another aspect we saw in the Rafael Fiziev fight. Justin Gaethje needs to shoot his takedowns. And I'm not talking like he's going to win a wrestling decision versus Dustin Poirier and become Justin Nurmagomedov. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm saying that he needs to shoot his takedowns to vary his attack. He needs to avoid a straight boxing encounter, right? Throw an overhand, clinch up, and then elbow, and then disengage, and then throw a leg kick, right? Throw a leg kick from far out, come in with a punch, and then shoot a takedown. Make Dustin Poirier guess. Keep switching up the weapons here. You can't punch on with Dustin Poirier. No one can. You need to punch, kick, out. You need to block, clinch, and then maybe work for a takedown. If he gets enough damage off in one of the rounds, and he knows, oh, I've like busted Poirier's eye open, I've landed a good shot, go for a takedown. Stall, right? Just avoid that straight-up boxing match. But the thing is with Gaethje is that he likes the straight-up boxing matches. He just wants to trade, and that's exactly what will get him knocked out again. So he needs to mix up his weapons. The other thing, this is kind of cheating. Altitude. Elevation. You have to trust Poirier as a veteran of the game at this point, and he has done his research and made sure he's got the conditioning for Salt Lake City. But I still, in this version of events where I'm trying to get Justin Gaethje to win, we have to say he has the cardio advantage. He does train at Team Elevation with Kamaru Usman and other people. He knows how it feels to train up there and how it feels to fight. So I do think that he could have an advantage in a war of attrition if he avoids getting damaged. This is the main thing. If he gets damaged, his war of attrition doesn't work because he's so concussed and beat up, he's going to get finished. So avoid the boxing. Play that war of attrition. Play a slow game where you're leg kicking. You're doing a lot of clinching and grappling. Obviously, I really want the clinching there for Gaethje. If Gaethje isn't clinching and grappling a lot in this fight, and I don't mean grappling like keeping him on the ground, landing total strikes. I just mean keeping him guessing, keeping up against the cage, transitioning from double legs up to like underhooks and with uppercuts and things like that. Justin Gaethje's uppercut has actually really looked good lately. That's where he's going to have a lot of success as well. Like all of his punches are better when he's in between a clinch. He breaks on a clinch and throws an uppercut. He breaks on a clinch, throws a hook, and then goes again for a takedown. Not to get it, just to stall, right? Don't give Dustin Poirier room to work where he's best. Dustin Poirier works best when you're sitting with him and trading punches. Don't trade punches. Punch, clinch, land an uppercut inside, and then put him up against the cage and try and get a takedown. If you get a takedown, you're just trying to put him on the floor instead of put him there. He'll get back up, and you guys will keep trading. But this is where we see this small area where Justin Gaethje could win. He can't go too chaotic and just tank damage because that's what happened the first time. He can't go too patient and be technical because then that's just going to give Poirier too much room to work with his technical boxing. He needs to make this like a hybrid fight, a hybrid Gaethje. Patient but chaotic, right? Be chaotic in the clinches, be like your normal crazy self in the clinches because all of his punches work better in the clinch, his hooks and his uppercuts. And then mix up the things that Dustin Poirier has to think about. Go for the legs, drag the legs out, push him up against the cage, kick the legs in the clinch. Like he can land leg kicks so close, Justin Gaethje. That might work way better in this fight to focus on landing the inside leg kicks, like really close range, because his long range leg kicks get countered by Poirier's long range punches, and that's what happened in the first fight as well. He threw a leg kick and he just got caught on the chin. So Justin Gaethje can win this fight, and you guys are going to hate me for saying this, via decision. That's the way Justin Gaethje wins this fight. If he makes it a brawl where he's getting a finish on Dustin, iron-chinned, blocking, head movement Dustin Poirier, you're not finishing him with punches. Just shut up. That's not happening, right? You just make this an uncomfortable fight for him. You stay out of range, too far out of range, and land leg kicks and cover up and try to avoid the boxing exchanges when you're out of range. Then when you're in range, you're being your crazy normal self, uppercuts, hooks, clinching up. Make sure you're hitting and then grabbing. You don't want to hit and then try and duck and move because it's going to play into the boxing game of Poirier. You want to hit, grab, and then go for takedowns, go for the legs and things like that. Mix it up so Poirier's constantly suffocated or you're out of range and you don't have to engage with him. That's what you need. And then over the fight, you win enough rounds to get that decision. You can't, Justin can't make this a big fight where he's brawling with Poirier and finishing Poirier. There's no world where Poirier is almost getting finished and Justin Gaethje isn't, right? Justin Gaethje's defense just isn't good enough, and Poirier's is too good. You're not. How are you even landing on Poirier? Oh, I'm super close to Poirier, and I'm trading with him. That's how I'm landing on him. Then he's punching you too, and his head movement's better, and his blocking's better. You're just using a straight chin, Gaethje, right? There's no finish here for Gaethje. Gaethje needs to play the decision point-winning game in his own like hybrid way of chaotic clinching and making Poirier guess when he's going to go for a takedown and do things like that, and steal the rounds with the takedown. If you're at a close round and you've just landed a big punch or a big leg kick, go for a takedown and just try and hold on to him. It's like against Gaethje's nature to win in the way he has to win in this fight, but that's how he does it, and that's how he gets a decision win, because there's no way anyone's punching Dustin Poirier in the face for a victory here. Like a decision victory, sure, but no one's finishing Dustin Poirier on the feet with punches. He's far too good at the defense. I think I'm repeating myself enough in this video, but you get my idea here. Justin Gaethje needs to be chaotic on the inside with the clinching, and he needs to be patient and really cover up and be tight and get away from the punches in the long ranges and throw a lot of leg kicks. And mixing up his takedowns could help him steal enough rounds to win this fight via decision. Justin Gaethje can win this fight via decision, but if there's a finish, it's going to be Dustin Poirier landing lots of punches on Justin Gaethje's open chin. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you think I don't know what I'm talking about, or if you agree with me, or if you learned something, like and share, and I'll see you in the next one.